Hello there, and welcome to a 2v2 online battle. Now this is one we played on stream the other day, which turned out to be a pretty good battle overall. And you may notice that this isn't actually my replay, although I am in this battle. That's because my game crashed right at the end of the battle, so luckily a couple of the guys in the game managed to save it and sent it over to me. So I'm able to bring you this replay, so thanks to them for saving it. And we're using Dingo's replay. Dingo's been in a few of my videos and a couple of tournaments. He's playing as the Skaven. And then his ally is the Lizardmen, played by Outer Region, another man who's been in the tournaments, a strong player. And I'm playing as the Wood Elves over here, not a faction I play very often, I picked them at random, but we'll see what I can do with them. And then my partner is Yas, who I don't know too much about. I believe he's German, because the replay he sent me, all the faction names were written in German, so that's why we used Dingo's, because it was English at least. So, we're going to look at my side of the battle versus Outer Region first, and then we'll look at Yas and Dingo afterwards. So we'll do kind of two online battles in one go sort of thing. Now for my front line, I was kind of building for the Lizardmen, so I've got 3 units of Eternal Guard with shields. They of course have the armor piercing, which can deal a little bit with some of that armor that the Saurus warriors will probably bring, and obviously the large units as well will have that armor, and we've got the anti-large bonus to deal with those large units too. Then I've got 3 units of Starfire Shaft missiles, again to deal with those large specifically, because armor piercing, large, it's really the only way to try and take them down properly. I do have some Asteroid Spear War Dancers as well to that end to try and get after any large. I've got 2 units of those, one on either side. And then I do have some Dryads as well, just to slap things about, just to maybe chase off some Skinks or any Skaven rats that may need slapping about. Dryads are usually pretty good for that. So I've got 2 units of those, one on either side. And then over on my right flank, I've got 3 units of Wild Riders, a very strong cavalry of course. They're all kind of together. Going to look to bring them in all from one side. Yeah, we'll see what I can do with that. And I do have a Spell Singer of Life and a Glade Lady on an Eagle as well. That is my entire army. And like I said, mostly built for dealing with the Lizardmen, which is just by chance who I got. Now, taking a look at the Lizardmen army, it's quite small, but it's got lots of power. So on his left, my right, he's got the swanky Cold One Spear Riders, so dangerous anti-large cavalry there, and then some Horned Ones, who are just a very strong, hard-hitting, armor-piercing cavalry. Got to watch out for those. There's some Umbral Tide, these goddamn dirty salamanders with their fiery breath. And no Lizardmen army would be complete without an actual dinosaur, so there's a big old Stegodon coming, and it's the Engine of the Gods, so the one that comes with that horrible beam spell. So, got that to look forward to. And his front line, it's quite small. It's only a unit of Saurus warriors with no shields, the fancy red-crested Skinks, and another unit of Saurus warriors. So only 3 units, and then he's got some Javelin Skinks behind for a little bit of range. So a fairly small, simple front line. Nothing else on this side. And then he's got the big boys, the Star Chamber Guardians, the Regiment of Renown Temple Guard. And they are acting as a bodyguard to his lord, the Slan Mage Priest of Light, in this case. So lots of dangerous light spells that could cause me some problems. Got to be ready for all of those. So that's the Lizardmen facing off against my Wood Elves. Yas has a couple of units on my side, his Vampire units, a couple of Cavalry units, Black Coach. But I think he's realised he's going to need them, so he's pulling them over more to his side. So I'm just edging up towards the Lizardmen, trying to get in range with my missiles, of course. Start getting some fire on those Saurus warriors, as they don't have shields. Also, the red-crested Skinks are a danger, because they are unbreakable, so they could hold for a good while and keep doing a lot of armor-piercing damage. Now, over on the right here is where the battle really begins. He starts to send in his 2 cavalries, both together. Now, my plan here was to try and net them and shoot them. I'm going to leave these Wild Riders stood still. I'm going to let him get pretty close, and you can see here, I'm trying to get this spell off. This is the, what's it called? The Prey of Anathema, or whatever it is. Her net spell, my Glade Lady net spell, that should pin them in place, and then I was going to hammer them with my armor-piercing missiles. But unfortunately, I was a little bit out of range, and it didn't go off in time, because I planned to get all this into them when they were netted. But it didn't quite come off, so I have to countercharge with my Wild Riders. They're getting hammered by the Umbral Tide as well. Then the net comes in finally. I'm going to send in my other Wild Riders, and my Asteroid War Spear Ladies, who are, of course, anti-large, so they'll do pretty well at stabbing up their cavalry. So, a bit of a mad fracas on the right side. The Stegodon's coming in now as well. So, it's 2 units of Wild Riders versus 2 Lizardmen cavalries and a Stegodon. But I do have the anti-large Asteroid Spears in there, who are going to be very important for this. And I'm firing some missiles in there too. Going to start to try and focus on that Stegodon as well, because he is a big target that we can get some damage on with all of our missiles. But if only my net had come in a little bit sooner, I would have been able to prevent one of those charges and hammer them with armor-piercing missiles, which would have been absolutely lovely. And for the front line, the skinks have come in. They've got into us. We have shot them a little bit, but they haven't lost too much health. These are, of course, the unbreakable ones. So they'll still be able to put out some damage despite their lack of armor and such. Now, bringing up my other wild riders here. But they are going to get netted in a minute by that Slan Priest. You can see the front line about to reach me as well. Now, for these wild riders that have been netted, he is planning to do some horrible things to these nice reindeers because he's sending over the Star Chamber Guardians, who are of course anti-large and will eat them for absolute breakfast. So I'm trying to counter that by sending in my Dryads just to try and break their charge and stop some of the unit reaching them. Can they get there in time? Just about. They get about half of the unit stopped before they reach the Wild Riders, so that's definitely going to save them some damage. Going to cost me my Dryads, but they're obviously not as important as the Wild Riders, although they're now getting hammered by the Umbral Tide as well. Some protection coming in for them there. He's also been using a lot of magic to take out my missiles. He just used the, I forget what it's called, the beam spell from the Stegodon, and he dropped a banishment through the middle of those two units as well, so they've been pretty much wiped out. He knows they're the most dangerous thing to a lot of his large units. Front lines are engaging. It's a tough one for us because of those Saurus warriors. They've got the melee attack to really chew through us, chew through those spearmen, despite our armor piercing damage. I'm trying to focus fire this Stegodon as much as I can. We've done some decent damage, and we've come off pretty badly, but we've also given a lot to the enemy. We've whittled down both of his cavalries. One of my Wild Riders ran off that way, I think. They must have routed, or maybe it's that one there. One of them's coming back in. So we've lost this exchange overall, but he's put more into it, and we've done a lot of damage, so it's kind of evened out. My Asteroid Spear War Dancer's still in there, going to be pumping out that anti-large damage, so that's very helpful. My Lord's okay. She's been dropping arrows here and there. The front line, I got one of my missile units still intact, so they're going to be very useful as the game goes on. Yas has got his cavalry nearby. I did ask him to kind of do something with them to help me, because that's kind of what they seem to be there to do, to help me out, which definitely helps the support. Two of our cavalry going to run into each other here. Neither of them were charging. We just accidentally ran into each other trying to get to other places. My Asteroid Spears trying to get this thing dead. We're going to net it to try and help that stay in place so my War Dancers can stab it up. And I'm also going to try and shoot it with more of my Starfire shafts. So it's pretty even at the moment for our battle. He's probably edging it a little bit. He's doing more damage than I am. But we're holding on, trying to get rid of these skinks. The skink javelins were mostly aimed at my missile units, I think. He was trying to get those gone. Going to manage to rout some Saurus warriors with the help of Yas's Black Knight cavalry. They are the lance and barding ones, so good shock cavalry. And at this point, I kind of decided to get after the Lord. I thought maybe we weren't going to win a war of attrition here, so let's get after this vulnerable Lord. He's not protected now. I'm going to start shooting him with missiles, getting my Spellslinger after him and my Lord. And my Spellslinger has mostly been just here for healing. I've done a little bit of healing. I haven't done it very well, to be honest. It was a little bit rushed. I just kind of healed whoever. And here come the Umbral Tide, making a desperate charge to stop my missiles firing at his Lord, which is going to be very important for him. Doing a good bit of damage, though. Got him down to half health, bringing the Glade Lady in. But guess who's coming over to protect? It's the Star Chamber boys, who haven't really taken too much damage at all yet. I'm going to get the hell out of there with my Lord. Of course, I don't want to hang on there. He does net me, but somehow, through a little bit of luck, I managed to get away, and she flies off into the air netted, which is definitely far better than her being stuck down there with the Star Chamber Guardians. So very lucky there. A little bit cheeky, but Outer gets his own cheeky moment in a minute, as you'll see. Trying to get some spears onto the Umbral Tide. Got to get some damage on them. They're a very dangerous unit in this late game with a powerful ranged attack. Yas's cavalry still helping me out. He's charged these Saurus warriors here, which has made them turn around and allows me to shoot them in the back, which is a beautiful combo. And here he's pulled his large units away from my anti-large, which is good for him, but he has left his Lord behind, which has left his Lord very unprotected. So his Slan Mage Priest is mine for the taking if my spears can hold on to it long enough. I've got Asteroid Spears in there, so lots of damage to pump out. And the tables are starting to turn in my favor now, definitely with the help of Yas's cavalry. Otherwise, I think the Saurus warriors probably would have run a lot of my infantry through. So definitely wouldn't have done so well without the support. But here's his cheeky moment. His Slan Mage Priest is getting away. He is outrunning my War Dancers somehow. But I decide to try and net him in place with the old Anath Raymer, which I do. My War Dancers start to chew him up. I think, sweet, this is the end of his Lord. And then he turns around and just scoots off. Even though he's supposed to be netted in place. Cannot move, it says. Cannot move. He is definitely fucking moving. So that dirty toad has somehow broken the rules of the game and is getting away when he should be getting stabbed up. But I'm going to send my Lord in after him as well. He's going to send the Saurus warriors to try and stop those War Dancers. My Lord's supposed to be swooping in to take out the Slan Priest, but she just kind of went around him and then got netted, but luckily in the air again, so no bother. but she can still shoot, so I'm going to try and get her to shoot him. The cavalry, Yas's vampire cavalry, still saving me here. Star Chamber Guardians getting worn down slowly. My spear's putting up a decent fight against them, to be fair. Some skaven magic coming off on them. Got a few units here. Doomflayer's coming over now to help. Ikit's there as well. But that cavalry coming to save my ass. Going to take out these Saurus warriors. I'm dropping an arrow of Kurnus to try and finish off this lord. He takes it, but it doesn't quite finish him off. He hangs on with 12 health. And then I think I get a final arrow on him from my lord. And that puts that Dirty Slan Mage Priest in the bin. So now it's just a Skaven to finish off. So that's pretty much my side of the battle, mine and Outer Regions. A close battle. It was kind of even. I won it, but only because Yas helped me with the cavalry, I think. It's very close. Now, to the other side of the battle, let's take a look. So, Yas playing as the Barrowed Legion, I think. The Vampire Bastards. That's what I call them. So he's got mostly Graveguard as his infantry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 units. Some zombies around there as well. So mostly simple on the infantry. Good old churny Graveguard. He's got a Terrorgeist going around as well. His lord is old Heinrich Kemmler. He's only on foot, so he doesn't have his horse. Makes him a little bit vulnerable. But as long as he can protect him, he should do just fine. Lots of strong magic, and Krell, of course, can come from that man. He's got some bats, and then over on this side, he's got the Black Coach, which you didn't really see too much on my side for this first part of the battle. And he's got the 2 units of cavalry, which you did see. These Black Knights with Lance and Barding, and also some Warhounds, or Direwolves rather, as well. So that's his army. Mostly strong holding infantry with some flanking mobile larger units. Now Dingo has got a front line of clan rats with shields, which personally I find a little bit too risky when you're protecting the expensive stuff like Jezzails, Rattling Guns, and Natty Boobo's boys. He does have some Death Runners hiding out on the side. They're upgraded as well. Some Doom Flayers knocking out on the flank. And some Plague Monks in the middle here. Upgraded. More Plague or Death Runners again. And then Ikit on a Doom Flayer as well. So he's got some mobility with all these Doom Flayers around. He's got the range with his missile units. But his front line is a little bit risky because it's only clan rats who don't hang on for too long. He does have the Plague Monks and Death Runners to back him up. But we'll see how this one goes. Luckily for him, the front line of the enemy isn't too heavy on the damage output. They're much better at holding our Graveguard than actually doing any damage. He's starting to whittle away at them with his missiles as well, which is of course going to help those clan rats. But will it be enough to hold them back? We shall see. Heinrich very vulnerable. I'm surprised he's not getting focus fire, to be honest. Leaving him out in front of all these Jezzails, they could be picking him apart right now. The Rattling Guns going after those Graveguard, wearing them down. He's going to try and heal them with a little bit of the Invocation. Bats coming in as well. They need to disrupt those missiles. Doom Flayers on their way, going to drop their first charge. Oh, it's going to do some nice damage. Those Doom Flayers hit hard. They're going to be very difficult. Oh, Terrorgeist coming in to help. They're going to be difficult for the Graveguard to try and deal with because they just won't be able to stop them or hold on to them. Bats tying up the Rattling Guns now. That's going to save some of these Graveguard a lot of pain. Ikit's over here though, causing problems. Causing all kinds of problems. Again, you just can't stop the bastard. You need some kind of fast unit to keep up with him, but the vampires don't really have too many, other than the Terrorgeist perhaps, and his cavalry, which is really what he needs over here just now. He should stop trying to help me, and he should come over and sort all these missile units out, but he's very kindly aiding me. These Natty Boobo's boys have been hammering away at the Terrorgeist. They've done quite a lot of damage to him. He's wavering now, but he is going to go and get after them. Should be able to reach them. Heinrich Kemmler probably wants to spawn up some zombies on all this stuff. Here comes the Black Coach as well. Going to help deal with all these units. The Death Runners coming over though. Oh no, they're going off somewhere else. Clan Rats are holding on okay though. Protecting those missiles somewhat. It's only the flying units that are getting after the missiles. You can see his 2 units of cavalry there. His Direwolves are coming around. So yeah, he'd definitely be doing a lot. There's so much opportunity for him to hammer an anvil right now with that cavalry, but he's a little bit forgotten about it because it's not doing anything, but he is also leaving it over there to help me. He probably should have split them off, one for himself and one for me, if he really wanted to help me. I definitely needed the help, so I'm glad that he did. Ikit coming after Heinrich now, which is a little bit dangerous for him. But I do wonder if Heinrich has raised dead, because I haven't seen any zombies spawned up, and that is one of the biggest strengths of the vampires against missile-heavy armies there. He's got spawn units, so he can spawn up zombies. on some of these units or behind the skaven to hurt their morale could be very useful. See, there's some Jezels in the background still popping off. Black Coach is going to sort them out though, so he's doing alright at tying up the missiles, stopping them from firing. He's got the Direwolves chewing up Natty Bubos. Bringing some spells in for the Skaven. Terrorgeist still around, but only just. It's going down. It is crumbling away. And his... What the fuck? Look at him run. Go on, Heinrich. He's trying to get away, but he's actually getting mashed up. Whoa, whoa, hold up. Hold up. What is happening? He's like running twice as fast as he normally would be to try and get away from him, but he's right on top of him. And he should be getting absolutely mangled right now. Oh, that was ridiculous. So he's trying to overrun the Skaven a little bit, which would definitely be more effective if he'd spawned up some zombies all over the place. Heinrich's in a little bit of trouble. He's lost half his health. Icket's all over him. Got the Direwolves nearby. Some of these Jezels still firing. He needs to try and get a hold of those with something. His Grave Guards slowly winning the war of attrition, wearing out these clan rats. Some of the Death Runners hanging in there though, the Plague Monks as well. But these Grave Guards still in pretty good health. They're all at half health. Doomflayers coming back over. The Black Coach still around. So it's fairly even. It's kind of hard to tell who's really winning at the moment. These Rattling Gunners going off again. He needs to try and stop those. Here comes some Graveguard to do just that. He's trying to take down the Terrorgeist. He's going to do it. It's not too long. Heinrich's in trouble. Heinrich is in big trouble. Icket's all over him. Plague Monks or Death Runners are on him. So he's finally spawned up some zombies by the looks of it. Or maybe these are normal ones. No, they're fresh. They must be okay. Old Krell's here. Good old Krell's in there. He's trying to walk through clan rats now. Probably coming over to try and save his master. Yeah, he is. Heinrich going to run past him. Icket's going to go off. He's going to jump into the crowd of clan rats though. It's not good for him. It's not looking good for Heinrich. He's finally brought some of his cavalry over though. He's got one of his cavalry to come and try and help him out, but he might be a little bit too late. If he'd done that a lot sooner, this could be a different ball game because he would have been able to take out those missiles much earlier on. Doomflayer's going after the Black Coach, but the Black Coach in good health. He's doing alright though. It's looking like the Skaven are slowly falling. Their numbers are slowly dwindling, but of course they will come back and they'll keep coming back. The vampire units don't go, so it may seem like they have more, but really they're just slowly dying because they're all crumbling. While the Skaven units will keep coming back and coming back and coming back, even if they rout. Graveguard getting worn down. So it's a very close battle on both sides. Krell in there doing some work on these Plague Monks. Who's going to take it? The favor bar is pretty much bang in the middle this whole time. It's nearly at the end of my side of the battle over there. And he's going to bring his Doomflayers over to help me, or to help his ally against me. And he believes that his clan rats can finish off the Graveguard, I guess, because otherwise he'd be using those Doomflayers to finish this lot off. But it's looking like he's going to do it, because these Graveguard are running out of juice. And these Death Runners still in pretty good health. The Black Coach is here though, chilling out at the moment, but does have good health, and it's very hard to get a hold of for the Skaven. Come those Doomflayers. Maybe going after the cavalry. So it looks like the Skaven are going to finally finish off the vampires and win that side of the battle. So it's still pretty even, either side. I won my battle, but only because Yas really helped me, I think. I'm not sure I would have been able to take care of those Saurus warriors as effectively without the help of that cavalry. So we're at the point now, pretty much, where the game... Oh no, that Lord is still alive. It's about 7:13. Here comes that arrow. There it goes. It finishes off that Slan Priest. So this is it. We're at the point we were at before, at the end of my battle. So now we got to see who can take this. Favor bar still bang in the middle pretty much. Slightly in our favor. Mine and Yas, but only just. The Skaven have won their fight. I've just about won my fight, so it's pretty much 1-1 for a winning side. I decided to try and target Icket now. I figure if we can get Icket dead, we're going to break the leadership of all this stuff, because there's a lot of Skaven left. These aren't in too bad of health, so they could be dangerous. These have still got a lot of ammo, actually, these Rattling Gunners. Plenty of ammo left for them to do plenty of damage, which is not what we need, as we don't really have anything to deal with them. So it's going to be tough for us to try and stop them. The Doomflay is still going as well. For the Lizardmen, it's only the Star Chamber Guardians still hanging on. Still wearing us down. My Spearmen putting up a fair fight against them, to be fair. My Eternal Guard. Fair play to them for holding on so long. Didn't think they'd stand up to the Star Chamber boys so well. A spell slinger, still alive as well, just. Pop some healing here and there. And we've nearly got Ikit done now. We're routing him off. He's wavering. Got some help from that vampire cavalry. He was fighting my Asteroid Spears for a while as well, which is obviously bad news for him. Trying to tie those Doom Flayers up with those. Get as much damage on them as we can when they're stood still. And we've got him routed. Now we're trying to keep him routed. So I'm following and Yas is following him with his cavalry. We're trying to chase him off the map basically, or do enough damage to kill him. He does still have quite a lot of health though. So it's going to be tough. He's going to try and tie up the cavalry by putting his units in the way, which he does. Now I'm going to pull back. As you can see, I pulled off this way so that I can just fly straight over the top of all this stuff. Because obviously that is the bonus of me being in the air. He's shooting me with some of his Jezzails, but not really too worried. I've got a lot of health. His cavalry's getting tied up and is crumbling, but he's still trying to pursue. But then I did say on stream, I'm not sure if he heard me or whether he was listening, but I said, I'll get the Lord. Just let me chase the Lord off. You go and hammer and anvil some stuff. Or just hammer some stuff, because there's no anvil. So there he goes, charging into some Plague Monks. Because he's got the power to just route off all this stuff with a bit of cycle charging all over the place. And I'm just going to chase off Ikit to make sure he doesn't come back. And that should be our key to victory, because a lot of this Skaven stuff still hanging on. The Black Coach still going for Yas though. You can see most of my stuff's routed off. These boys did that. These goddamn salamanders came over and started dropping fire on us, and that routed everything of mine. So yeah, while it was looking good for us, it's now not looking good for us because, yeah, all my infantry just routed and there's a lot of Skaven stuff left. All Yas has got is that cavalry and that Black Coach, and I pretty much only have my Lord, who is now riding a Doomflayer motorcycle, unicycle? I suppose it's a unicycle technically because it's only one wheel. But there's some strange thing going on where I'm just following Ikit on his Doomflayer. Not doing anything to him. I could be pecking him to death. My eagle could be pecking his fucking eyes off. But no. He's just running after him and it looks absolutely ridiculous. Like some sort of eagle motorcycle toy. But we're nearly at the edge of the map now. So he'll be gone and then that leadership penalty will be incurred by the Skaven. And that will likely be enough to finish them off. Just got to get him there. Yas's cavalry going down. There it goes. The Doomflayers and the Clamrats finishing him off. And only the Black Coach left for the vampires. And that is getting hammered by a flaming attack, which is definitely not good for him. But the power of a chariot in the late game can be a huge game changer. He's going to charge into these Plague Monks and stuff. They are not going to like this one bit. It looks like he does get stopped by that flaming attack there before he could charge properly. But it's still enough to use his fear and terror to finish off those rats. These are nearly wavering as well. Oh, they do break. They're gone as well. So the Black Coach just scaring everything off. Turning the tide. Some units still left. I'm starting to bring my Lord back. She's alright. She's got plenty of leadership. She's got 70 leadership. She's not fussed at all that her entire army is dead. Some of the Lizardmen coming back. Some of the Doomflayers just finishing off what I've got coming back. So an incredibly close one. Could go either way. I forgot that the favor bar is actually showing their favor. So they've been the ones in favor this whole time with the yellow bar. And it's actually my side that's been looking like they're going to lose. So it's anybody's game at this point. The Star Chamber Guardians may be able to counter the Black Coach pretty well because they've got the charged defense. But he's got to keep him still for that. And I'm not sure if fear and terror affects them either. Not sure. But it's anybody's game. It's anybody's freaking game. The Black Coach doesn't have a lot of morale. So it's liable to crumble and disintegrate at any second, so he does have to be careful. You can see he's apprehensive about charging into the Star Chamber boys because he knows it could go either way. And I think he's trying to get round the Star Chamber boys now so he can charge the Saurus warriors, as he knows they're not anti-large and don't have a charge defense. But the Star Chamber boys were moving anyway, so they don't have a charge defense, and they've both routed. I've come in as well to try and kill a few, but they routed just from the Black Coach charge before I got there, so the Black Coach has done the work there. Now it's just some Doomflayers left. And this is it. The favor bar is now sneaking into my side's favor finally. Dropping an arrow on those Doomflayers, hoping to rout them. And it was about now that my game just crashed and I was back on my desktop. And I was not happy. Because I wasn't sure if we won. I didn't know if we were going to win. I didn't know if everyone had crashed. I thought, we've lost the replay. This was a good battle. But luckily, as I said, the boys saved it. We got these Doomflayers wavering. My Glade Lady hopefully going to finish the job. The Black Coach finishing off the Star Chamber boys. They are getting mowed down truly and rightly. A couple of Skaven units coming back in the distance, but I don't think there's much hope for them against the Black Coach. I'm finishing off the Doomflayers. Come on, Doomflayers. Once they rout, it's going to be game over. They're the only strong unit left. And that secures mine and Yas's victory in this here battle, which was damn close. It says valiant defeat, but that's obviously for the Skaven, because it's a Skaven replay. So yes, very close. A good win, just about, for me and Yas, me and the vampires. So let's check out some kills, see who did what. My kills, not a great deal of them. A lot on the Asrai spears. So my Wild Riders didn't do a great deal, but they were taking out some cavalry, so most of their kills are going to be strong cavalry. My missiles, again, didn't seem to do a lot, but they were blasting down that Stegodon a fair amount, and the Lord. Not a great deal of work from the spears, apart from the Asrai spears, who did well. My Glade Lady did pretty good. Yas, Barrowed Legion, Black Coach doing really well, of course, hanging on till that late game. The cavalry doing really good too. Those Lance and Barding, even though they're not too expensive, they did damn well. Graveguard doing okay. Obviously mostly chewing through some clan rats. And then Outer Regions Lizardmen, let's have a look at those. Star Chamber Boys doing well, of course. The Salamanders doing horrible work to my lovely things. And his cavalry, much like mine, didn't get a great deal done overall, but it did take out my cavalry, so not a lot of kills, but strong kills that it did get. And then for Dingo and the Skaven, Death Runners doing pretty good. Some of these clan rats actually putting up a fair amount of kills. Probably some zombies, I guess. Ikit doing pretty well for himself. The ranged units, of course, doing good work. The Doom Flayers did a fair amount, so fairly spread out kills across all his army. But there we go. A 2v2. I hope you've enjoyed this. Well played to everyone involved. Good game. If you want to get involved in these battles, come play on stream and you might be in one of these videos. Who knows? Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the future.